Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. I see Emily's here in the chat. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Let's go ahead and dive in. And it has started, indeed. So, yesterday, we managed to get our comm network set up with 3 relays around Moho to make sure we have communications for probes traveling in and around the Moho area. Today, we're going to build one more probe and send it into a polar orbit to scan the planet for ore concentrations as well as science and hopefully some anomalies. So, let's dive in. Since our last craft yesterday, the Moho deployer was successful, we're going to reuse it. But we're going to change the top level here. So, we're going to start by getting rid of all of these relays. We don't need them. And let's delete the fairing to make things a little bit easier for ourselves. Okay, so this craft can get us to where we need to be. It's got a little bit more delta V than it actually needs. But that's okay. In terms of what we want to put on here, we're going to start with a fairing. Not that one, this one. And we are going to re-enable our interstage nodes. We're going to use the nodes as a structure for putting on all the different things that we want. So, to begin with, we're going to need some power and a probe core. Let's go ahead and start with one Z2.5K rechargeable battery bank. And then on top of that, let's go ahead and throw our probe core. For this one, we're going to want the Mark II drone core. And then, now that we have a little bit of power and control, we're going to want some electrics to provide power. I think a pair of Gigantors would probably do the trick. Let's see if we can slot these on here somehow. There we go. Now, the interesting question is whether we can get the fairing out and around that. Or possibly, actually, you know what? Let's not do it that way. Let's put a strut on here. Let's use a structural object. Yeah, let's use the cubic octagonal strut here. Maybe not the cubic. Maybe we'll go with this one? No. What's a good one here? Lou Gaming Plays, welcome back to the channel. Yes, we are going to Moho again today. And Michael Linsenmeyer, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. So we're going to use a couple of interstage nodes here because we're putting a bunch of science instruments on here. One thing I'm trying to figure out right now is which of these objects I want to use to mount the solar panels. So I'm trying to figure out which is the right one. I guess that's probably too big. That's too big. This probably could work if we could. I can't seem to get it to attach directly. But maybe like that. That looks pretty good. And then we can just use our offset tool to drag it up just a little bit, I think. And then we can attach the solar panels to the side. So we'll kind of pop it right there. That looks good. And now let's throw our 2 Gigantors on. These should be sufficient, I think. Maybe we need one more of these. Just to give it a little bit of height. And then we can swap these in right here. Want these nice and centered. That looks good. Now, can we get the fairing out around them? Yes, no problem. Okay. So there's our battery bank, our drone, and our power infrastructure. Next, we're going to need another stage, and we're going to put on some of the science materials. So We're going to start with the Sentinel Infrared Telescope. We can do a scan from the atmosphere with this. That's near where we want it. We want it there. Yep, that looks good. And then on the underside, we can place a thermometer. Or actually, I don't think we need to place it on the underside. Maybe we do. Or actually, you know what we could do? We could put another strut on here. So we'll put one more of these octagonal struts right here. If I can figure out how to attach it. There we go. Okay. And that's going to provide a mounting block for our thermometer, as well as our pressure scan. Where's that? Where's the pressure scan thing? Presmat barometer. Here we go. That can go here. Bob Schwan, welcome back to the channel. Lou says, I dare you to go into the Moho. Well, we're not. This first probe is going to go into orbit, a polar orbit, to scan for ore. So we'll have to see whether or not we have time. Let's see. What else can we put on here? So Moho does not have an atmosphere. The seismic accelerator only works when we're landed, so that's no good. We cannot scan for gravity around Moho. We can use the magnetometer boom, however. We can do a magnetometer scan here. So actually, I'm going to move this a little bit lower, and then we'll put the magnetometer boom right here, I think. Let's center both of these a little bit better. Actually, you know what? I've just realized I turned the snap off, which was probably a mistake. Let's get that there. Put that there. And actually, we can recenter these like so with the snap-on. Oh, so I just saw we're going to have a problem with that being able to extend. So let's change this around. Let's get you here. And let's get you over here. We'll have to pick a different location for that because we need the solar arrays to be able to extend here out like so. Okay. I think I'll move these up just so that they're a little bit easier to reach. Like that. And these should be able to extend. Yeah, they look fine. Okay. So that's good. Now, where do we put the magnetometer boom? We can put it maybe on the next level up, or I guess we could add yet another strut here. Yeah, let's just keep strutting. Oop, there it is. Okay. And then back to science. Let's get the magnetometer boom here. Let's attach this. There we go. That looks good. I can go out right over the solar panels, do its science, and then retract. What else have we got here? We could do mystery goo, but we could only get one shot with it. Same with the material study. This vessel is not going to have a scientist on board, so it's not going to be able to do anything else. And then the surface scanning module, I think we want as well. Soil, atmospheric, and oceanic sampling tools. When used while landed on a planet or moon. No, so we're not going to be landing with this, so that's not going to work. All right. We have our telescope. That's going to be fine. And then if we add one more device, it would be the M700 survey scanner. So this one we can pop onto a new truss structure. So with that, we actually have our probe science complete. And let's draw our fairing. Come in a little closer here and polish it off like that. That looks pretty good. So there we go. That's kind of it. The one other thing we need, I guess, is communications. They're going to need something to communicate with all of our relays that we have set up. I think it's probably safest to go with something fairly beefy. What are these? 20 meters, 2 Gs, 15 Gs. Let's stick with something beefy here. I guess the Communitron should do it. And we could place this inside somewhere. Where can we place this? This is a pretty big part. We could place it on the back of, or on the side of one of these, maybe. Maybe we'll just stick it on the side here. That's probably fine. There we go. All right, so let's see. What else should we do here? We should probably set up an action group. Let me delete this fairing for now. We'll redraw it in a second. So, in terms of our action groups, we can have custom 1 be for deploying all our goodies. So custom 1 can be extend antenna, as well as extend solar panels. Is there anything else we want to do in terms of extending? I don't think so. I think that's fine. And then for custom 2, we can do all of our science. So we can come in here and click on the thermometer. We can log the temperature. Click on the pressure barometer, log the pressure data. We can click on the magnetometer and run the magnetometer report. What else do we have? If we click on the telescope here, we can log observation data. And then finally, on our scanner, we can, I guess, deploy the scanner. I guess maybe that would go on custom 1. So if I deploy the scanner, it opens up. Yeah, okay. Let's put that on custom 1 as well. Okay. So that kind of takes care of action groups. We've got communications, we've got power generation, we've got control. Hibernate and warp should be set to true. And I think we're about good here. We're just gonna launch now. Let me rebuild the fairing. Need this out just a little bit to get around the I can speak. I know English. To get around the solar panels. There we go. Okay. So we got a little bump there. I don't know how that's going to be affecting the aerodynamics, but this vessel, this enormous beast, has gotten to Moho before with a fairly heavy payload, so I'm going to just trust that it can do it again. We are going to rename it now. So this is going to be the Scanner 1. Sure, why not? And let's go ahead and launch it to orbit. Once we're in orbit, we can wait for our transfer window and go to Moho. So, only 13 minutes of building this morning. We had a lot of the vessel ready to go, so that's helpful. I'm not sure how I managed to launch this yesterday. We'll see if we have the same luck again today. Let's just do a quick save. ZT. Let's see if I can get up there. Oh, I've obviously made a mistake here. Let's revert. So we do want to launch the vessel here, but we do not want to release the fairing until we're ready with our second stage. Let's go. Can't be KSP without one screwed up launch, right? All right, let's try that again. Now, I do remember I've done this again. I've placed the module in such a way that it's facing like the 90 degrees away from the way I normally launch. So I need to hit D instead of S here to launch into the 90-degree orbit. So let's start pulling it a little bit. Just a little bit. That's a good start. See our angle of attack here as we rise up over Kerbin rather. There's the mountains in the background and the KSP falling away below us. Looks like we've got clear skies this morning, no volumetric clouds to fly through. And some sort of oil spill apparently out in the ocean. That's a shame. These Kerbals, a little bit reckless with their use of use of oil tankers, I guess. Let's follow prograde for a bit, and then let's start dragging ourselves little bit closer to that 45-degree mark as we approach the 10,000 meter altitude. Not too fast, not too slow, just right. One other thing I've learned from watching some of these YouTubers like Matt Lown and others is a good rule of thumb is to keep your gravity turned such that your apoapsis is under a minute and close to about 30 away from you as you climb. And then as you get up, your speed, you need to kind of hold your altitude, you need to hold your angle a little bit until you're through the worst of the atmosphere. So we're going to keep this angle a little bit longer before we switch back to prograde here. I want to keep climbing a little bit till we get to around 30,000 meters. And we're getting a little bit out here, so I'm going to reduce the throttle just a bit. And there we go. We're going to hold our time and even let it drop a little bit with our reduced throttle here. That's fine. We are still slowly growing our speed and our apoapsis. And now that we've kind of hit 30,000, now I'm going to switch to prograde. I'm going to put the throttle back up as soon as this drops to around 30. So this is looking like a pretty good launch. Once again, I'm fairly shocked that this enormous rocket flies as well as it does. But I guess I learned enough about rocket building. We've got good, we're draining from the bottom up, so moving our center of mass higher as we get through the burn. And we've got good aerodynamics going here. Okay, so our time is dropping, but our apoapsis is growing. Everything's looking good. Our speed is going up. It's got 1,300 meters per second left. That's about right. And as this gets lower down to around 30, I'm going to start increasing the throttle. Radu, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. Krisky, welcome to the channel. Found me with Astroneer, staying for KSP. Love it. Glad to have you, my friend. Okay, Apo's getting up around 60. T-minus getting down to around 30. So we're getting ready to push up the throttle again once that hits around 30. This is looking like a really nice gravity turn. Very efficient, seems to me. I'm going to start pumping in a little bit more throttle here. Keep that right around 30 as our apo grows. We want this over 70. We want these both over 70, obviously. And now looks like I may have gone a little bit too low. I need to angle up just a bit to get this apo over 70. Grow this out a little bit. There we go. 80 kilometers is fine. We've got 5 minutes to apoapsis, which means, and our periapsis is already above 0, so we're going to be able to circularize this really well, and we're going to use up the last of our first stage here and be in a really good position to transfer to Moho. Okay. Stream seems a bit earlier than usual. I started like 5 minutes earlier, but don't forget we also had daylight savings time. So your internal clock may be a bit screwed up, Radu. All right, let's warp forwards a bit to that apoapsis. And then finish up our circularization, and then we can begin planning our transfer to Moho. See Kerbin rotating beneath us. Looks good. Lots of ocean here as part of the orbit. Getting down to 2 minutes. And weird that the last 20 or so streams started at 6:30 p.m. for me. This started at 5:30. Yeah. Like I said, we had daylight savings time change in the United States. And what that means is that my clock shifted an hour forward. So what was 8:30 a.m. for me, or what was 7:30 a.m. for me is now 8:30 a.m. And so would it be about an hour change for you as well? Okay, down to about 20 seconds, and then we'll just kind of blast it. Get that periapsis up there. Looking good. Looks like we can go even a little bit lower here. Right down to the 10-minute mark, or I guess the 5-second mark. Blast ourselves up to 79. And there we go. A nice, even apoapsis of 80 kilometers, and we've got 183 meters per second of delta V to spare. So I think I'll spend... Yeah, I'll spend 90 meters per second here. Burn us out a little bit, or maybe not quite 90, but let's burn some of this. There we go. Well, I burned about 90. Now we'll go around to our apoapsis and circularize at 200 kilometers. That's going to give us a little bit more leeway in escaping Kerbin's gravity and use up the last of this delta V. So let's come around here. You can see our lovely relay network, our comm network. I'm going to turn that off for now. And I'm going to come around to Apo, and we're going to start burning to bring our periapsis up. Hold on. Oop, I was facing the wrong way somehow. That was a mistake. I don't quite know how I was... because when I was warping, I didn't track prograde, so I have to... Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. We'll burn the rest of this fuel as soon as we get turned around here. Facing the right direction. We actually are in suborbital flight right now, so that was bad, but that's okay. We can fix it. Come on, big boy. There we go. Come on, get in there. Man, this thing is slow to turn. Does not have a lot of reaction wheels on it for the mass that it contains. All right, there we go. That's pretty good. Now that we're facing prograde, I'll burn the rest of my fuel. We'll see what we get. Okay, so 205 and 160. That mistake cost me a little bit of eccentricity, but I can reduce my throttle to 0 and do my stage. And now we have a much smaller craft with our nuclear engine here, ever so slightly coming out of its shell. Well, clipping through it, I guess. And here is our probe, ready to travel to Moho. So let's quick save there, and then let's go back to the tracking station and delete our debris. Yeah, Radu, this one is also going to Moho. This one is going to be... hold on, is there any debris I can actually recover for funds? Let me leave the facility and see what's on the launch pad here. Should be anything? No, okay. Excuse me. Yikes, a little bit of a... Oh, so I can recover some of this. Okay, get some funds back. This, however, we have to terminate. Okay, back to scanner 1 here. Or actually, let's just plot our transfer window before we fly anywhere. So, we have a pretty good orbit for our probe, the scanner 1. I guess I should have named it Moho scanner or something. In fact, why don't I redo that? Let's rename this to Moho Polar Scanner. There we go. That's going to be a probe. That's fine. So we're going to have to transfer this to Moho as the next step. Let's plot our transfer window. Okay, so here's the transfer window planner. And I wish that you could make this a little bit larger. It doesn't respond to the UI changes. But we're starting at Kerbin with an orbit of 160,000 kilometers. And we'd like to go to Moho. Earliest departure set. And let's go ahead and plot it. Okay, so it's going to show us our phase angles here. So we can kind of see that. That's one neat thing that we can do in-game. And then ejection angles too. Let's take a look as we get in closer at the... Let's turn the CommNet off. Let's take a look at this ejection angles. I don't know exactly how this works. Saying we want to be ejecting in this direction. So we want to burn such that if we had an instantaneous burst of delta V change, we'd want to burn right here so that we are flying out that way. I guess that's what it's saying. But, of course, we don't have magical instantaneous delta V burns. That doesn't work. So we're going to have to plot it so that our final ejection is close to this. That's actually kind of a helpful, useful tool. Let me see what we can do. So it's saying that we want to depart on year 23, day 81. And our ejection angle would be this, 79.95 to retrograde. Ejection inclination, negative 9.24. Well, we're going to fix our inclination on the way. But should we try to... I'm not sure. Let's look at this ejection delta V. Ejection delta V. The prograde component is 2282.3. Wow, this is a lot more expensive than last time. We did it for about 1700. So it's saying ejection delta V is 2282.3 prograde and negative 722.3. So 722.3 anti-normal. I wonder if we can... If we bump this up, can we get something cheaper? Let's plot it again. No, it's still saying 2444. I wonder if there's a way to tell it that we're doing... So if you go to the other thing, the website, it's slightly different than this in-game one. I want to take a look at that. It's the OR thing. You seem to be at a decent-ish window. I mean, I guess. Let me go over to the other thing. I've been trying to use the in-game one here, but let's see. The website seems a little bit easier to use sometimes. So KSP transfer window planner. Let me grab this in the window capture. Let's see. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my windows here to get them into OBS. All right. So here's the launch window planner on the web. Now if I go from Kerbin, 160 kilometer orbit, to Moho, and what's my earliest year or date? It's year 22, day 237. Year 22, day 237. Now, if we change this to a mid-course plane change, this is what's not available in the thing there. So yeah, where's the ejection? It's still really high. Okay. So earlier I was able to get a much better ejection delta V. Like much lower. Let me show some of these advanced settings. Latest departure. Let's bump this up to year 25. Let's bump this up to 285 days. Let's plot that. Still really expensive. Okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing. Let's just go back to the in-game one and use that. It's going to be over 2,000 delta V. After Moho, can we work setting something real close to the sun? Interesting question. Pandian, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. I've been great. To be efficient, you must encounter Moho at its periapsis. Yeah, well, this is telling us when to wait for the encounter to be efficient. So, I guess 2444. If we did all of this, this does have a cheaper insertion though, so the overall delta V is only 43.27. I guess that's good. If we do it with the way this is saying. It says ejection inclination negative 13.87. Insertion inclination 7.76. Well, we're not going to deal with the inclination. That's going to be a mid-course correction change. So let's go to year 23, day 86. Less a little bit. It's going to be right at the boundary of the day that it wants us to do this. So year 23, day 86. Let's see about that. Year 23, day 86. So 100. What does that get us? Not enough. 200. Okay, that's a few off. We need, what, 70 more? 270. 81. 274, I guess. That's going to get us close, and then we'll throw 4 hours in on top. That gets us within an hour and a half. So that'll give us some time to plan our departure burn. Actually, we might want to... Do we want a little bit more than that? Let's give ourselves basically a full day so we can do some home and transfers here. Let's add that alarm. And let's go ahead and set up our... We've already got 5 warp. All right. Let's warp out to that. Okay, so there's our window. Moho's is fastest at the place U and also faster there, so orbiting is cheaper. Countering it at apoapsis is least efficient, so you may be encountering it somewhere between the apoapsis and periapsis. I think these angles should be right. That's what the transfer planner is telling us to be efficient. Let's take a look. Okay, that takes care of our transfer window. And we can get rid of U as well. So if we bring this back and show the phase angle here, we're very close to what it's suggesting is the most efficient transfer. Let's go back to our ejection angle. So it wants us to, according to this, it wants us to spend about, where's the ejection delta V? About 2195 in prograde. Something like that. So that would be an absurdly long burn. We're going to want to have our ejection be in that direction, I guess. So let's take a look at what we would need to do to get roughly that angle. Let's go back to the Moho polar scanner. Transfer to encounter Moho at periapsis costs more because you burn longer, but getting orbit is way cheaper. I see. Okay. That does make sense. All right, where's our orbit? So we want to be coming a little bit like this way is kind of the goal. So I guess if we added a maneuver here and put our, what, 2195 prograde in, where does that get us? Not along the angle the way we want. Let's move this around. That was not what I wanted to do. Let me grab this thing and move it until it's roughly in the right direction. That's a little bit wrong. That's too much. Or is that about right? Maybe that's about right. Wait, which angle are we looking at? Yeah, no, that's not right. That's too far. Let's kind of move this back a bit. Something like that is kind of roughly what it said it wanted. If we look at the advanced information, so I don't really understand. I thought that the way that this worked was it would show you the ejection angle of the maneuver, but it's not. It's showing me the ejection angle of our craft right now, or I don't know why this number's changing. Some of the things in this game don't make a whole lot of sense to me. the way they've designed things. But we can see we're kind of on roughly the right path here. Let's set Moho as our target, and let's see what our closest approach looks like here. So we're going to have to do a mid-course correction change, but last time we came back around and hit it over here, right? Something like that. Let's go back to our maneuver and start kind of tinkering with it. Let's add little bits of delta V here and there. See if we can get an approach. Okay, there's something. Target position at closest approach. All right. Shall we tinker a bit with our departure? Is that getting closer or further away? So that's 6.7 million. If we go faster and move around, now we're getting a lot closer. Okay, so we need to go a little bit faster, I think. Where's our current? That's starting to look decent. And then if we do our plane change halfway, we're going to get even closer. Let's see if we can keep playing with this a little bit. Do you want less or more? You know, I lost it. It was in there somewhere. Trying to find it again. I don't know if I've gone too far one way or the other. Let's go back this way. We had it there. I was making, like, movements that were too big. We had it somewhere around here. Hold on. Did I see it over here? Yeah, okay. So I've made it worse. Let me scale down the delta V changes here. You know what else we need to do? We need to push this forward in time a little bit. So we have some time to work with. Let me keep toying with this until I can kind of find it. Can I grab this? Where is that encounter happening? Oh, wait, did we have something? No, just solar orbits. Okay. Well, I think we're way too low now on the delta V. We probably need to push it up. I've lost track of where the where was it? It was a 2190, I think. 2195. And then if we kind of like circle around a little bit, well, these are too big. Can we find it again? I don't know where it went. Wait. Nope. Further back? It's around here somewhere. Because we did have it before. You're at the ascending node, do a plane change. Yeah, I will. I'm trying to get as close as I can first. I've lost track of where the encounter is here. Why does it say... Huh. We had it, and then I ruined it. I don't know what happened there. Am I going too fast? I can't... Sort of lost track of where it is. Let me come back and kind of reset. I think we were more inwards towards... Yeah, we were more towards this direction. Right? That's kind of the suggestion that it had for us. So if we come in and around this kind of position and start tweaking our delta V a little bit, let's go down to 1 meter per second and just see if we kind of throw a little bit of change in here. That doesn't seem to be working. Let's come back a little bit. Do we have... Where's the encounter? Come on, wait. All right, there we go. So I'm back to at least being able to see it. So closest approach, 3.8 million miles. That's not great. Let's scale this way down and get a sense. So if I add delta V, it's getting further away. If I remove delta V, it's getting closer. I need to kind of do this until we lose it, and then move the timing ever so slightly. Okay, so that kind of... Is that making it... That's making it worse. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting it this time, guys. It was a lot easier last time. I don't know why. But... Okay, so the more I move it forward, the more I need to add prograde. Yeah, so little bits of change to this part, and then bigger changes to the prograde part. That kind of is getting us a little bit closer to an encounter. Come on. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Ever so slightly. Man, this is not easy. There we go. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay. Come on, give it back to me. Give it back to me. There it is. Okay, we're getting close. Hold on. I might have gone too high there. Come on, I know you're in there. Where are you? I lost you. Come back. Let's see. Backwards in time. I've lost it. Dang it. Where did it go? Come on, give it to me. Give it back to me. I need it. We had it there. It was getting close to an encounter. Oh, man. We had it for a second. I don't know where it went. I lost it. I'm doing my best here, guys. I know this isn't exactly super entertaining, but I just don't know any other way to do this. Okay, we're getting close here. You know what? If we do that, that's 500,000 kilometers. So then we can do a mid-course correction to get the plane change. That should bring us in a little bit. Let me try to make... I can't really see very well. Let me switch over to this view, maybe. Can't quite tell. So we're too far out. So we'd like to be actually a little bit less on delta V, I think. Just little bits. Let's kind of bring it in as much as we can without losing it. Go a little bit higher than that. Yeah, see, that's coming in. And then, do I go forward here? No. I can go backwards in time a little bit. And then I can kind of add a little bit less delta V. That's gonna... Nope. Man, that's rough. That's hard to gauge. Is that bringing it closer? 397. I think that's getting closer. 425. No, see, that's 483. Okay, so that's worse. We were at 425 at one point. How did I manage this? $511, $482, $453, $424. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting closer. That's $366. If I add more delta V and then more time, $359, $330. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. $309. $293. $276, $247. All right, now we're getting close to an encounter here. $240, $211. $191. Okay, all right. So I fine-tune this a little bit more. We'll be there. Here we go. This is looking good. This is looking good. We're down to 100,000 kilometers now. Keep pushing it up as much as I can. There we go. That's almost an encounter, and if we fix our inclination along the way with a mid-course change, we should be able to get an encounter. That's 100,000 kilometers. 2251. All right. So I apologize for that. I don't really know a better way to do that. I've seen other YouTubers just kind of like freehand it and they just magically get the encounter every time. Maybe they just understand better the way to do it. But for me, like fiddling with it like that is the only kind of way to get it to work. I think I will actually just try to get a little bit closer here. That's 80,000. There we go. There's an actual encounter. Okay. All right. Gosh, that was a pain in the butt. So now we have the problem that this is a 5.5 minute burn, but I don't think I want to mess around with like Oberth effect or whatever. I think I'm just going to do this. Because at least we're getting there. So let's just do this burn. All right. Straight up, just do a huge monster burn for 5.5 minutes, and then we get to Moho. Man, this planet is challenging. I don't know. Maybe I could get maybe I could hire a KSP tutor. Maybe there's somebody out there. Maybe I can pay Matt Lown like $50 an hour to come coach me on my stream to get better at KSP. Matt, do you take requests? Actually, the guy who might do it is Mike, Micah Ben. He's got a Patreon. So if I agreed to be his Patreon at like the highest level for a year, maybe he'd come on my stream and give me some tutoring, how to do stuff like that. Okay, the worst of today's stream I think is over. I can't believe you guys are still here. Use radial in and radial out. Sphere's influence is just about 10,000 kilometers. And Skeleton with skin who likes space stuff. Welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. I see you've enhanced your name even further. Good to see you. All right, so this is our maneuver node. And you know what else we can do? We can hit the 1 key. We can deploy all our goodies. So there's our solar panels, there's our communications, and our scanners deployed. We're ready to rock. Let's quick save one more time, and let's jump forward to get ready for our burn here. Okay. Well, here we go. Wish me luck, guys. Let's see if we actually get there. The engine is active, correct? Yes. All right. So we're just going to have to do a 5.5 minute burn. Nothing else for it. In 30 seconds here. And here we go. Big ol' burn. Look at that gorgeous waterfall engine plume. That is good looking. And now there's nothing for it but to spend the next 5.5 minutes waiting for this burn to complete. I don't have a way, unfortunately, to... Yeah, it cannot warp faster than 1x while the ship is under acceleration. Standard physics warp. Physics warp 4 to 12. I don't think I'm allowed to do this. Yeah, I'm not. Slow-mo, physics warp, standard physics warp. Yeah, I don't really know how that works. Physics settings, scale camera speed, lossless physics. I don't know what this stuff is. I probably shouldn't mess with it. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Skeleton with Skin, who likes space stuff, says, my baby brother was playing with my computer and somehow he edited my YouTube channel name. Really? Well, if I didn't think YouTube let you change your channel name, but if he was able to change it to that, you should be able to change it back. Radu says, do Alt and the right allow tiny key to physics warp, I think. Do Alt and the right allow the right arrow? Alt plus right arrow? Oh, look at that. We can time warp. Alt plus, it was period. Okay. So somehow, that's a great tip, Radu. Thank you. So for me, it's period and comma on my keyboard, but is that actually working? I guess it is. I don't want to go faster than 2x time though. Yeah, I can see this counting down. That's double time. That is a really neat trick. Thank you. Actually, I will go a little bit faster. Let's test this out. Look at that. I did not know that. So I learned something new. This is why I love having viewers who are familiar with the game. That's a big help for me to be able to do time changes, to break the rules and go a little bit faster here, not have to sit here for 5 minutes during this burn. That's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, we're getting it a little bit closer now. So I'm going to slow us down once we hit that 15 or 20 second mark. Okay. And let me just watch this for the last few bits and bobs. Try and freehand this, because I don't have a good way to look at the map. All right, 2.2 meters per second off. That's pretty good. I'll take it. And let's take a look at where we're going now. So we're slightly off. No, I think we still have our encounter here. Look at that. I did that burn well enough that we still have the Moho encounter. Fantastic. All right. Well, that was painful, but we got it done. We're going to have to do it one more time when we send our Kerbals. Man, that is not easy. But you can see that the transfer window has set us up so that our plane here intercepts Moho at its descending node. So our burn actually allows us to come in and hit it at its descending node, which allows us to kind of not worry quite so much about the plane change, which is cool. Now, we're kind of at the ascending node now, so if I were to try to do the plane change, I would have to do it here, but I don't think I want to because it will screw up my encounter, right? I think at this point, I just take the intercept that I've got, and instead of changing that, let's do a mid-course correction, which is somewhere around here. Let's focus in on Moho. And let's prepare ourselves for our polar orbit. Now, where exactly are we coming in here? All right, we are coming in at a bit of an angle. So what I think I want to do here to get this right is I'm going to set up this maneuver to hit the center of Moho. And that way, I kind of know that I'm coming in at I'm coming in on trajectory. And then once I'm centered on Moho, then I can try and set up my polar orbit. So this should be a little bit easier to deal with here. We've got our periapsis here. Let's just kind of start moving it planetward. Let's go ahead and put this at like 1 meter per second and see what we do. Oh, that's like quite a lot. That's too much. Let's go down to like 0.2 meters per second. Like I said, what I'd like to try and do is just hit the planet, if I can figure out how to do that. This may not be the right way. All right, let's reset that. Let's work with prograde instead. So what does prograde do? Moves us a little bit rightwards. Can I get down here? Yeah, I can get down. Okay. Can I hit the planet somehow? That would be sort of ideal for me. To hit the planet here. Dead on right in the center would be perfect. Then once I have that in place... Okay, so once I have that in place, then I can kind of correct and set up the polar orbit that I want. So what are we doing now? We're doing prograde and normal. So now I want to scale way down. Kind of get back to the middle of the planet. I want to be going right through the center to know that I'm on trajectory for what I want to do, which is get an orbit going. Oh, I'm still not quite doing it right, but that's not too bad. It's close anyway. What I kind of want is for the line to be straight and not bend, I guess. Something like that looks okay. And now we'll put some normal back in. Okay, that's going to give us a periapsis of 28,000 meters, which I think is a little bit too low. I think somebody told me I wanted a periapsis of like 500K yesterday. Is that right? Moho's cool in my opinion. Is a GTX 1070 good for KSP2? For KSP2, I don't think a GTX anything is going to cut it, my friend. Excuse me. Wait a minute. What's the current series? Is it GTX? Is that what I have? A 30? I have a something 3080 from NVIDIA. I forget what the letter codes are. So Radu says I've got a GTX 1080 Ti and I run it around 30 FPS, so probably not. Yeah. RTX? Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I think their minimum recommended for KSP2 is a 2080. I mean, you can run KSP on a toaster, which is one of the great things about it because it's an 11-year-old game, right? So what do we want here? Does anybody have an opinion on what kind of a polar orbit I want? I guess I start at 500 or... Now, if we're closer to the surface, it makes capture easier, right? Because we get more gravity. So maybe what I want to do is come in here, get my apo, like get my capture with my apo at like 500 and then push the periapsis out to something more reasonable. Because 28,000 should be a pretty good altitude to not hit anything, and Moho doesn't have an atmosphere. So maybe this is what we want right here. Maybe this is all we need. And then we come here and get our capture. And then once we have that, and we're in our nice polar orbit, which looks like we're going to be able to do very easily here. Once we have our polar orbit, then we kind of circularize the periapsis out. What do you guys think? Should I keep with this, or should I move it further up first? It's RTX. Yeah, that's what I thought, RTX. Because GTX was from like the 90s, wasn't it? Or the early aughts. Let's see. Better keep your money. It's not worth it now. Yeah. They've hired a new graphics programmer. They're redoing the entire terrain system because I saw a post on this. They reused the terrain rendering system from KSP and just added a bunch of stuff in. They just kept cramming more and more stuff into it. And then they launched in early access, and the suits realized, oh, what the technical people were telling us was right. This performance is garbage. And there was a big backlash to it. So they're redoing the entire terrain rendering system with their new graphics programmer they've hired. And then the simulation needs work too. So I think maybe in a year, KSP2 will be in a better place, but it's not ready right now. Fortunately, the pressures of having launched will refocus, I think, their needs or their priorities. It'll refocus their priorities to what the community is complaining about, which is largely performance. They're going to stop like worrying about marketing and tutorials and making things shiny. And they're going to focus in on the core performance of the game. And then like 2 years from now, we'll start to get the really cool stuff like the colonies and the interstellar travel and the multiplayer stuff. Okay, you guys have not answered my question, so I'm going to just go with this. We're just going to do this and see if it works. We've got 4,500 meters per second left. And like Radu said earlier, we did a big chunk of our burning at Kerbin to make it cheaper to capture here. So we're just going to do this and see if it works. Let's quick save. Let's face our maneuver node. Now our... Oh, we're still pretty close to Kerbin here. Our drone core, our Mark II drone core should have hibernate and warp automatically. Yeah, that looks good. And in terms of our electric charge, we're doing very well. The solar panels are sufficient to keep us charged. So we've got an 82-day journey here, but we don't want to do this burn in 1 second. For 10 meters, we want to put our thrust limiter well down, give ourselves a good amount of control over this. 3 seconds should be fine to get the level of granularity that we want. And now that we're facing the direction we should be, I'm going to go ahead and turn SAS off. And we're going to warp away from the planet. So let's do a nice kind of hide the HUD and say farewell to Kerbin as we kind of progress outwards into our 82-day journey to our next maneuver. There goes Kerbin in the background. And our probe is on its way to Moho, everyone. KSP2 soundtrack is 1010. Yeah, I will say this for KSP2. The only thing they appear to have gotten right is the audio. The music, the sound effects, seems to, like, they hired somebody really good, and that person, like, planned their work well and got all their work done in time for launch. The audio, I agree. From what I've seen, it's fantastic. That's the one part of the game that seems to be rock solid right now. I hope that guy gets, like, a raise and a promotion. So there goes Kerbin in the distance. Our home planet. Farewell. All right, let's bring the HUD back. Let's scale down to 1 here, and then let's actually go ahead and quick save one more time just to be safe, and let's warp forward. There's no way with that a game like Graphics with KSP 2 needs an RTX 3080 as a recommended. Yeah, they got some work to do, but we all kind of knew that. It's a shame because I was looking forward to playing it, but I'm not going to spend $50 on an alpha. I will wait the 1.5 years, 2 years. I know what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I love KSP KSP, and there's a lot more content coming from me in terms of streaming KSP, but I'm wondering if you guys would have any interest in watching me play Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been watching some of the videos for that, and it looks like a lot of fun. Particularly, I don't know how long it would take me to learn how to do it, but the VATSIM stuff seems really cool. They've got like a worldwide network of gamers who are like take it professionally and seriously, kind of, and like almost use it as a training program. And they have air traffic controllers. There's also maybe servers somewhere with, I don't know where we are. I got to focus on this burn, but like I would really like to, I think, to kind of learn how to fly in Microsoft Simulator. And there's like cool stuff you can do. You can fly around the planet and see all kinds of landmarks, fly different stuff. You can fly like, you can fly jets. You can try to land on aircraft carriers. Would you guys have any interest in watching me play something like that? I'm curious. All right, here comes this burn. Okay, the burn is happening. Let me go back to Moho and watch this Periapsis come in here. So what are we looking at? 29,000, roughly? We'll just watch it match in. Should be able to eyeball it. We're really low on the thruster, so we should be good. All right, I see some responses in the chat. Hang on a second. Let me finish this burn. Like I said, there's definitely more KSP stuff I can do, for sure. We haven't even gone to half the planets yet. But, why does it look like I did something wrong here? I lost my maneuver node because I forgot to turn SAS on. Crummy. Okay. That was a mistake. Let me just quick load this. I don't want to do that again. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Skeleton says yes. Radu says, I think Universe Sandbox would be fun. Michael says, I wouldn't watch, but you can ignore me. My vote shouldn't count unless you're going to build a rig with multiple monitors, cameras showing you in it. No. No, that probably will not happen. Okay, SAS engaged. Face the maneuver node. There we go. Still got 58% thanks to our lovely network of relay satellites around the sun and around our Kerbal system here. All right, let's try that one more time. Now that we're tracking the maneuver node, hopefully this should work. All right, where's Moho at? Okay. Should work better this time. Let's watch it happen this time. I think we're going to get it. Yeah, it looks better. Tracking your maneuver node actually helps. Who knew? Here we go. Okay. 27.8. Gonna come in real close here, but let's go ahead and throw a maneuver here. And let's put some retrograde on it until... Oh, we're coming in over the top of it. We're not... I thought we were coming up from underneath it, but we're coming over the top of it. We're going in the opposite... Yeah, there's the escape. Okay, we're going the opposite direction, I thought. Still, simple enough matter to put enough retrograde on it until we capture. Wow, is that expensive? Another 2,500. All right, let's get the apoapsis down. I think I want something like... This is a polar orbit, so at least we've got that going for us. I think I'd like something like 500,000. Okay, that looks good. That's going to burn up 2/3 of our remaining fuel, but that's what we brought it for, so no worries there. And then we can take a look at doing some science. transmit it back home thanks to our lovely relay network, and then prepare or figure out where we want to go tomorrow, or not tomorrow, tomorrow's Tuesday, Wednesday, when I actually load up a vessel with Kerbals and send them out here to land. So let's do another quick save, and let's jump forward in time until we arrive here at Le Moho. Time warp complete, is it? Oh, right, this problem again. I forgot about this. Let's warp again. Where is it? Where are you, Moho? Gosh, you are so small. Wait, where is it? There it is. Okay. Let's face our maneuver node and get ready for this monster burn. Another 4 minute 37 seconds. But thanks to Radu, I now know how to time warp through these longer burns. Let's see. Unless you're going to build a rig, I think you should take a break from KSP or stream. KSP in one stream, Flight Sim, Universe Sandbox. You can relay, create your own solar system and watch planets from Collide. Tape some cardboard boxes together and put your laptop in it. I'd watch that. Planet's a lot of fun. Emily, welcome back. Get a really low orbit, please. I want to see the polar Moho from orbit. And Skell says, bye, guys. I'll come back in 30 minutes. All right. Well, we'll see you in 30 minutes then, if I'm still here. Not sure. We'll see about that. All right, here comes this burn. And there we go. We'll see how this goes. And we can actually soft warp through some of this time. Slowing ourselves down enough to capture this tiny rock. I'm not sure where the Moho is, but we're gonna get real close here, guys. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we came in real close this time. And, okay, slowing down a bit. A bit more. Zoom out and see our circularization. Yep, that looks good. Our orbit, it's not circularized yet. There we go. Looks good to me. How about that? We are in a, I believe, a polar orbit of Moho. What is our inclination here? 88.7 degrees. Very close to 90. Really nice. Really nice. Okay, and we've got 1860 DV left. So despite all my moaning and bitching about how expensive this was, we did build enough ship to get here. And we can even push our periapsis out to 500 as well if we want to. So let's go back to our vessel here and take a look. See what we're working with. Okay. A big ugly ball. Got it. Got it. Good start. Zoom out a bit more. So where would the Moho be? I'm not familiar. This is my first time visiting this planet, so I don't really know much about it. He went by it, looked like a little white spot, tried to land inside it. He doesn't have a lander. I'm going to make a U, make a plug vessel for the hole. Y'all passed by it. Okay, so I missed it. So if we could do another orbit, maybe I'll see it. I am going to quick save here. And we're just going to speed up time a little bit. Kind of go around the planet and take another look. Oh, right. I've got this kind of very high apoapsis. I forgot about it. So is it near the periapsis, you guys? Is that where you saw me kind of pass by it? There's a big impact crater right there. I'm going to call it quirky. Michael really said make a Moho butt plug. Oh my goodness, you guys are dirty-minded. I'm pretty sure I've made a rocket that looks like that shape too. I think we all kind of tried to ignore it, right? As I recall. All right, so we're coming in towards the pole here. I guess it's this pole. Is this the North Pole? Not sure. But as we come in closer, I'll look for this, the Moho that you guys are talking about. It's not this, right? You're not talking about this? It's like, maybe it's that little thing right there? It's hard to tell. You guys said it looks white? Jossie, why did you bring that up? I don't know, man. You're the one who typed it in chat. I'm just reading chat out loud. That's what I do. All right. Chat's getting a little rowdy now. I'm not reading any more chat, so you guys settle down. It's a PG-13 stream. Oh wait, is this it? This must be what you guys are talking. Holy mackerel, that's enormous. Look at that. Is it this? It must be, right? That's what you guys are talking about. Wait, I can't. How deep is it? It's sort of hard to tell without sunlight. You passed it? So is it really big and obvious, or is it really small from this level? Right above it. Yeah, it's this, right? It's this big crater thing? Or is it that tiny little white dot? I don't know. We'd probably have to go down lower even to see it clearly for me to fully understand what you guys are talking about. Try seeing it from the map. It's the small dot. Like that? That looks like a mountain peak. If you're talking about where my mouse pointer is right now, that's the only dot that I can see. Like maybe it's that right there. I don't know. I'll go watch a YouTube video about the Moho, and we'll check that out. Wait, no, it would be near the periapsis, right? Well, yeah, I'm not sure, guys. I am not sure. So here's what we're gonna do. Where are we actually on our flight? We're not quite to the periapsis yet. Focus on Moho. That is it. Don't go in it. It's actually a worm. Okay. Well, we're gonna wait till we're at periapsis, and then we're gonna start doing some science stuff. Let's warp ahead a little bit. Okay. So now if I just hit the 2 key, We should get some science done. Infrared telescope can't be done right now. All right, so we got the temperature scan and the magnetometer report. Trace magnetic fields. Yeah, we've seen this before. Atmospheric pressure and temperature. Okay. So the telescope scan can't be done because I think we're too close. So I guess the next thing to do is transmit all that science back. Now we do that by clicking on the probe core. Where are the... No, I'd have to click on each individual... Hang on, let me do it like this. Aim camera, there we go. All right. So if we come in and click on this, we can review the data and transmit it for 70% science. Let me make look at our electric charge here while we do this. Okay, science was transmitted. And we only got 70%, so do we just log the temperature again and then... Oh, yeah, recovery would give us more, but transmitting does nothing. Okay, I get you. Then we come around here to the pressure barometer. We can transmit this for 40 science. How about that? The relay works. We're able to kind of like... That's so cool that we can transmit the science all the way from Moho back to Kerman. What was the other thing? The magnetometer boom? This guy. No, where's the magnetometer boom? This guy. Okay. Let's review the data. 360 science. We can... Wow, that's fantastic. That's really good. We can transmit 302 back. And it looks like we're not even denting our battery here to do the transmission. Okay. Let's... Oops. Well, we didn't need to do that. Let's put that back. Retract, boom. Okay. So there's our 3 science instruments. The 4th one we have to do in a higher orbit, so we'll do that up at periapsis. But this one we can do. Let's see. Aim camera. No. Perform orbital survey. Yes, received orbital survey data for Moho 70 science added. Okay, so now we have ore concentrations for Moho. Oh, it's very low. Toggle overlay. I can't remember how all this works. So it looks like there's not that much on the poles or really anywhere. If I go to map view, okay, here we go. Yeah. So there's a little bit. There's definitely ore on Moho, but it's a fairly low concentration here. So we're gonna have to figure out where we want to land, and then I guess the way to do it would be from the tracking station, right? That would be the way to do it. Transmit all by clicking on the antenna. You can only do the telescope in interplanetary space. I think if you're high enough, you can do an orbital survey kind of a deal, but we'll double check. Dres, Jewel, Lay, Val, Tyler, Bot, Paul, Elu, the Sun, Moho. Okay. So, yes, we have ore turned on. And then we can change the color, change the style. Now, as I recall, the green is the highest concentration. Let's bump the cutup off. No, it's not. Oh, so there actually is quite a bit at the poles, but no, not so much elsewhere in terms of ore. And the ore available is fairly low. Yeah, once we go to 70%, there's nothing. Okay. So 50% is kind of the best we can do for some sort of equatorial landing. And then once we get a little bit closer, I'm still not entirely sure how the color scheme works. Like, is the purple, I guess the purple's higher concentration? Or the bright purple here compared to the, like, darker bluish color? So it seems like if we want to get lots of ore, we'd have to land near the poles. But if we land in the equatorial, we can land in one of these areas and be able to at least get some ore going to be able to do SIRU or ISRU, in situ resource utilization, ISRU, to be able to make fuel from our lander and then be able to get home with that fuel. Because our only other option, really, is to find an asteroid and drag it into orbit and use that to generate fuel. So that seems like a crazy amount of work. I think we're probably going to end up not doing that. So we're going to try to probably land... Yeah, as soon as we go to 60, it's done. We're going to try and land in one of these areas. Probably somewhere like here. We want to land along the equator. Yeah, so like this half of the planet's a no-go. It'd be really hard to land well. So we kind of want to land in this strip here. This is going to be... So this kind of area here is going to be our target for landing. And then ideally, I'd love to see if we can find an oddity in that area as well. Let's see. Ore at the poles, another reason to pass by the Moho. Never knew Mohos this poor in ores. Might have to change future ore mining missions. Craters seem to have the least. Yeah, I think, honestly, I'm not sure, but I think it's different per planet as well. Okay, so now we're kind of getting away from the planet. Let me go do the other thing I wanted to do, which was to take a look at CurbNet here. So let me bring this up. Let's bring our FOV all the way out. Okay, so I can cycle the display mode. And refresh as we move. So this is the altitude map. Yeah, so we can see different altitudes of areas, and we should be able to see biomes as well. Yeah, there's the highlands, the midlands. Okay. And then the ore map, the ore isn't part of this. Okay. If we zoom in, we can get like a real close view. So there's only a couple of biomes visible from our current location, the Midlands and the Highlands. If we zoom in more, we start to get like real close views of the terrain. And so we can use something like that to figure out, well, where's a high point or a low point, where things flat maybe. Altitude. Okay, let's get a little bit further away. Let's get a little bit further away and see what else we can see. Because as we get further away, the CurbNet should see more. I was really hoping to find an anomaly here. Let's get further. Out to 500. Maybe out to our apoapsis. Refresh. Hang on. Speaking of our apoapsis, let's go take a look at that. It's all the way out here. So let's warp here, out to apo. And let's see if we can use the telescope. Because I thought, I might be wrong, but I thought there was a way to, if you were far enough up, that you could use the telescope to do a survey type deal. All right, so this is 500,000 meters. I'm not sure if this matters or not, but let's take a look. So if we come over to the telescope here, it's a little hard to aim the camera. There we go. Where did the telescope go? Yeah, so there's log observation data, right? Yeah, you can do it. Okay. Infrared telescope while in space high over Moho. So you have to be, this is what I thought. You have to be in space high, but you can use that to do one science experiment per body with the telescope. Now, you have to be in a solar orbit to do the object tracking. I know you're right about that, Adu. But you can do one science experiment per body in space high over each celestial body. And you can see here it's 105 science. It's not the most, but it's not nothing. And we can translate it, and we can transmit it that back to Kerbin. Now let me hop back into... There we go. Okay. Let me hop back into KerbNet here. And let me drag our... Wow, so even at 500,000, we can't see the whole planet. We're just too close to it still. Sector PZS. Interesting. I don't know what to... I guess you can name sectors? Okay, so there's Highlands, Midlands, the South Pole. I would have thought these craters were kind of their own thing, but so far I've only seen 2 real biomes here. Zoom in there. So Highlands, Midlands, Midlands, Highlands. Yeah. Does Moho just not have that many, biomes? I was also really hoping to find an anomaly. I don't know how that works. I definitely saw it in my other game. And yeah, I just don't know how it works. Well, I guess the other thing we could do here is, because we're in high space now instead of near space, is we could repeat our science experiments. Transmit those back. So there's a pressure scan. We can transmit that. There's the magnetometer report. We can transmit both of those. And where did our temperature scan go? Is it not different per biome, or maybe I need to reset it? Oh, so that auto extends it and retracts it when you run the report. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, so there's all the science we can do. I think I'm going to use my delta V. I want that KerbNet access to be better. So I think I'm going to use my delta V here to get a higher orbit. Yeah, I think I am. We're a little bit past apoapsis. Let's come around again. Facing prograde. Are we facing prograde? Trying to face prograde. What did we get here? We've gathered the first scientific data from Moho. Okay, there's a world first milestone. Yeah, I'm going to push this out a little bit further. Maybe out to 1,000,000 kilometers. Or 1,000,000 meters? Wait, where are we right now? We're at 500 kilometers. So maybe 1,000 kilometers? Let's push the periapsis out. We've got delta V to burn, so why not, right? These are going to flip around. Let's push it out to 1,000,000 and see if we can get a better view of things. We're still in a polar orbit, so we're going to be... Maybe we'll be limited in what we can actually see. I don't know. Let's warp here. And do this again. Oh, hold on. I need to warp a little bit less because I need time to turn around. Have a highly eccentric orbit so you can see the planet from different altitudes. Maybe 100 kilometer periapsis and 2,000 kilometer apoapsis. Okay. Well, let me try this first. I'm going to go ahead and get out to 1,000 kilometers on both sides. So relatively circular. And we are inclined a little bit. So as we move through time, different parts of the planet would be visible in different areas along the sides. It'll just take us through the year to do it. Okay, let's push this out now. Guess we come a little bit closer. Ever here. So slowly turn around and face this. Yeah, I think the only reaction wheel I have is the little, the Mark II probe core. I don't think there's any other reaction wheels on here, so it's not really all that surprising that it's a slow beast to turn. Just one thing I didn't think of, but then again, we saved on the mass, so we got all this extra delta V. Who knows? It's coming a little closer. Come on. Okay. And let's push this out the last little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we got roughly 1,000 kilometers on all sides. Let's turn SAS back off. Make sure our engine is off. Let's go back and use the CurbNet access again and see if we can get the whole planet in here. I really want to see if I can find an anomaly before I sign off for today. So let's get this back. Schiaparelli's Envy. Some of these things are named. Oh, okay, so there is a biome here. Minor craters. Okay, so we can get most of the planet from 1,000,000 kilometers. This is kind of what I was looking for. So let's set the automatic refresh. Every 3.5 seconds, we'll do an automatic refresh. That's kind of neat. We can actually see the planet moving underneath here. And then so I'm not sure which display mode I want. I guess the biome display. So on my other game, I had one of these things in orbit around Minmus, and there was a little question mark on the screen, and when I highlighted over it, it said anomaly. So I was hoping to find another one. I was hoping to find one that we could try to land near. I sort of thought there would be like 5 or 6 on the planet, and we could find one kind of hopefully near some ore to land on, was my idea anyway. But yeah, so far no dice. I wonder if I just kind of like sit here and let it run for a while, if I can discover an anomaly that way. Have any of you guys used CurbNet to find anomalies before? Let's see. Might have to. Let's see. Observatory for Space really call themselves McDonald's. From orbit, it seems Moho isn't flat. The craters seem to be the flattest, but they have no ore. Confuse the object tracking. Right. Okay. Highly eccentric orbit. Let's check the view. Unchecked the other side of Moho. Try time warping. Okay. Yeah, we do have to... We can't orbit around the entire planet. We can go a little bit faster here. Does this still refresh in time warp? I don't think it does. No, but when we come back down, then it'll update. Yeah, okay. So we can kind of go in like fits and starts here. Just little chunks around the planet, and then let it refresh. Yeah, you can see it kind of turning. I don't know why the entire planet is called Schiaparelli's Envy right now. Sometimes this CurbNet stuff doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. All right, let's go a little bit further. So maybe if I just leave it in orbit and let it kind of circle around while I play the game, because that's the way it works with the scanning telescope to find asteroids. You just kind of have to leave it running, and eventually asteroids show up. Maybe if I just kind of leave this floating around Moho for a while and go do something else, maybe when I come back, it'll have some anomalies for me. Maybe if I zoom in, maybe I just can't see them at this height. I don't know. Oh well. It is what it is, I suppose. It'll either happen or it won't. Canyon, southeastern lowlands. So there are a few more biomes. They're just kind of like scattered around here. So now we're right over the South Pole. Yeah, we can see the whole thing. Does the Moho show up on here? Or does it just count as a crater? Well, this is the South Pole. I think you guys said it's at the North Pole, right? I'm going to go take one more look from there. So we're halfway around the planet. Southwestern lowlands. Okay. Western lowlands. All right, so the big craters are their own biomes. And then the little craters are just all the same thing, minor craters. Okay, that kind of makes sense. So you got Midlands, Lowlands, Highlands, or Midlands and Highlands. You got the two poles, the minor craters, and then the big craters are each their own thing. Oh, hey, I found one. Found one. Look at this. Okay. Moho, North Pole. All right, I found one finally. Okay. So it's on the North Pole, which is not ideal because we're not going to be landing on the North Pole. But let's bring it into the center here. Okay. Let's zoom in. Okay, so it doesn't tell us anything about it. It just kind of like identifies it as a question mark. So there's an anomaly there. Basically, I guess. And I can set a waypoint. Field of view, refresh. So I could set a waypoint on it, and theoretically, we could visit it. The fact that it's at the North Pole is sort of troubling, but I guess there's also ore there. So we could do our trip to we could do our trip to Moho to land at the North Pole, right? And to enter a polar orbit, try to land at the North Pole, investigate this anomaly. There's ore there because it is, there is ore at the poles. So rather than doing an equator, we come in the same way that our probe did and land at the North Pole. So if I set a waypoint, place waypoint Schiaparelli's Envy on Moho at targeted location. Okay. So I guess it's generating random names. So now if I go to the map view, let's get rid of this. And if I go in and look at Moho, I want to target Moho. Yeah, I've created a custom waypoint now. Ooh, okay. So hold on, let me delete that waypoint. Let's go back to the ship. Let's go into CurbNet. Let's target this, and we can give it our own name. Okay, so North Pole Mystery. Let's make it something more interesting now. But what should I name this waypoint, you guys? Moho is a bug, I think. I feel like we could change the moon with Mercury, and there would be pretty much no difference. Mercury's bigger. Target locked. Checking out next mission. I'm back. I think the aliens want you to land. Try to ing it to it. I sandbox. See what is there. This craft has no fuel to land. Moho anomaly. Yeah, something like that. Let's just call it aliens. All right. Okay, so we've got our target. It's basically the North Pole. All right, guys, now we have our mission next time. So, tomorrow's one of my off days, not streaming tomorrow, but Wednesday we will be back, and I will send a crewed mission to land at the North Pole of Moho to do science and search for aliens at this strange anomaly that we've located. So, I hope you guys look forward to that. I hope I'll see you there. This will be an interesting mission. It'll be the first time we actually do a landing on a polar orbit. So we'll be landing at the North Pole. Obviously, we'll be doing science. We're bringing a bunch of Kerbals with us. And we're going to investigate this anomaly and see whether or not it's aliens. Rado, you will definitely be going, as will Mikey Jr. and Lori, since you guys are my highest rated Kerbals. So yeah, this was cool. This was a good stream. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I was able to do some more science and transmit it back through my relay network. We were able to arrive once again at Moho. That's our second trip there with a probe. It is tough getting that initial. Encounter. I guess I'm going to need to practice that and figure out how to do that better. But the rest of the flight was fairly straightforward. We've demonstrated once again that we have more than enough delta V with our current vehicle builds. Not to get home, I don't think, but we were able to get here and get into an orbit. And we found an anomaly, which is what I was really trying to do. One of the things I really wanted to do. And we have our plan for Wednesday. Wednesday morning at 8:30 Pacific time, I will be building a craft to bring 3 Kerbals here to land on Moho at the North Pole to do science and investigate this strange thing that our KerbNet scanner found at the North Pole of Moho. So look forward to that. I hope to see you guys there. And until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Have a good day.